And welcome back. And I'm here with Kayla. And Kayla, I'm so excited. You're in the middle of the new school level one, the beginning. And how are you doing?
Um, I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome.
uh, it's been a little bit, it's been a little rocky. There's been a lot of stuff coming at us. We've been, it's been hard to keep up with the homework. There's been a lot of, it's just kind of like, it feels like we've jumped into a giant pool of really cold water with a bunch of ice in it. And, and it's time to like to now get out and get warm and figure out what comes next. It's like the immersion has happened and now we're beginning to dig our way out.
Awesome. And I like that analogy. And what have you learned so far?
I think a big part of what I've learned is that I already have a lot of what I need inside me. And a lot of most of the workshop, most of the exercises that we've done and all of the homework assignments that you've given me have just kind of like opened me up to the idea that I already know what I need. I already have all of this within me. And especially there are things that you've showed us that I've never done before, but there are also things you've showed us that I've done previously and stopped doing because I either forgot or I didn't remember how much it like how beautiful it was when I did do it. So it's really been kind of giving me, it's turning my self-care into homework so that I have the accountability of showing up for myself. And so I actually just reinstated self-care mornings, which is something I had been doing earlier in the pandemic. And now that I'm living with my partner, just the two of us for the first time ever, the two of us are finally living together, just the two of us. It was something that I hadn't really implemented since I moved across the country. And now that I'm in the program with you and I was trying to fit in my homework for the new U school, I was finally I was like, okay, wait. Most of the stuff that I'm having to do for homework is literally the stuff that I want to be doing in my self-care morning hour. So now I'm doing a self-care morning and I'm incorporating a lot of the meditations that you gave us, and just kind of allowing that time to be a time when I intuitively let myself do any of the things that we've done and any of the things that I need to do in the moment. So I just feel very empowered to take care of myself. Yeah.
Impact your life.
Oh God, it's beautiful. It's definitely I was dealing with some really strong emotions the last couple of weeks, and I think one of the things that I dealt with growing up and that I can have, this course kind of brought it up for me is the idea of needing to live up to an expectation, needing to finish all my homework, be an amazing student, hustle, 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 just all of these rules that were kind of put upon me that, my parents were very encouraging. They always, were like, yeah, go, 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 do, do, do. And so initially, I think having all of the assignments kind of put me into that trigger space, and being able to kind of take a step back and recognize that every single thing that we are doing, regardless of the fact that it's on a list called homework, are things to help calm my nervous system, are things to help lower the activation, are things to actually give me a chance to show up for myself, which is exactly what I need to do in order to shed that limiting belief of I can never do enough. So I just feel like as I kind of came to that realization that yes, we're being thrown all of these things, but it's also a matter of these are all going toward the same goal. I don't need to kill myself over accomplishing things that are actually meant to calm my nervous system. So yeah, it feels good. Yeah.
And something really, I love that you mentioned that these are all the things that you would want to be doing anyway, because when I talk about homework, it's yeah, but it's homework, like you said, but it's all the things that if we're all doing it, we're going to feel, like you said, empowered. We're going to feel great. We're going to feel together. We're going to feel calm because it's meditating, it's keeping track of our
Mhm.
finances, it's cleaning our shit. Like it's just all the stuff that's kind of like you said, self-care. And some of it is boring self-care, but we need to have that accountability for it sometimes, or we can let it slide. But then when we let it slide, then all the other areas of our life kind of aren't as good.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. And anything that you learned that kind of surprised you, like, oh, I didn't know I had this thing.
One of the things that I think continually surprises me is that every time I use the New You School meditation, like the doing the somatics into the youngest child, into the inner child, into the oldest self, I find something new. And every time I'm dealing with intense emotions, or every time I'm feeling anxious, or every time, whatever it is, it's not always the same limiting belief that comes up if I choose to do that meditation to help me into it. And I think I'm a coach. And one of the things that I'm constantly talking to people about is how we are always on a healing journey. We are always on the journey. We're never done. You're never done with the healing. You're constantly growing. And it's something that I need to remind myself of all the time, because when I'm like, there is a part of me that's always like, but I've done this work, I should be there by now. And that's just not the case. So every time the idea that when I get to do a meditation like that, it's so different now than it was the first time I did it with you, it's a really great way to watch that journey, to watch the growth, because it's never going to be over. It's just continuous growth. There is no ceiling. Yeah.
Realize that you have all the tools within yourself, because when you first started, I believe on the first podcast, we talked about how you maybe gave other people that power.
That's very possible. That's definitely a thing I've struggled a lot with.
You talked
Yeah.
about like maybe putting your trust into others, and that was something that maybe you wanted to work on. So that's so cool that you're taking your power back there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know. I think that when I started the course, there was a part of me that like thought that I needed you to help me because I didn't know how to do anything. And so having you here as an account, like for my accountability, has been great, but you're not holding my hand. We get on a call for 15 minutes and you throw a bunch of shit at me and I'm like, okay, I'll go do it now. And it's like, but it's true. I have this all within me. Like, I don't need you to hold my hand. And I think when I first got into this course, that's what I thought I needed. I thought I needed someone who was going to say, okay, it's time for you to do this thing now. Like, it's okay, and it's not what I needed.
You're like, you throw a bunch of shit at me,
Yeah,
but then you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Then I have the things that are, it's like, oh wow, yeah, if I did that, that would make me feel great, wouldn't it? So yeah.
So how has your life improved in all the different areas so far?
Um, it's definitely improved in my business, because I feel much more in control, and I feel more empowered as a business owner. I think that before I started this course, I really wasn't considering my business as a business. Like, there was a part of me that was like, oh, this is just like a thing that I do, but this is my livelihood. Like, this is my business. This is how I make money. And while it's, I can trust in the universe to take care of me while I'm growing, I'm still growing. I'm still building a business. And I think changing that focus to really understanding how important what I'm doing is, not just to me and to my partner and to, all of my clients, but to the world. Because, as coaches, we are literally we're pushing along the evolution of humanity. That's what we're doing. We're pushing people into taking better care of themselves and therefore taking better care of the world. Like that's what we do. So really, you know, just kind of grounding into that. And I've started to take myself much more seriously. I've started to take what I create much more seriously. My creativity, my need for play. Today I took like a half an hour and just went outside and danced, and it was fabulous. It was great. But I think just kind of acknowledging myself as a whole person, because I am so many different things, and being able to acknowledge all of those things and to take them seriously and to be present with them, I think is very important. Yeah. Good. Me too.
I'm so happy that you went outside and danced. That makes me so happy.
It was great.
And what do you think has made the most difference? Is it a combination? Is it me throwing a bunch of shit at you? Is it the assignments, like the majority, right? Or is it the group support? Or do you think it's like a little bit of everything and the books, all that?
Honestly, for me, I think I do think it's a combination of everything. It's definitely a big combination. But I think there's a big part of it for me that I needed to challenge my own way of doing things. And because you are so honest and frank, and you are not someone who runs away from conflict, it was something that I had to put myself up against. And that goes with conversations we've had, but that also goes with how much stuff you throw at us, because I literally had to take a moment and be like, okay, there are some things I can accomplish and there are some things that I can't accomplish. And if I don't accomplish them, I don't need to beat myself up over it. So it kind of gave me a chance to really I think it gave me a chance to really take stock of what it is that I need, what it is that I want, what is serving me and what is not, and making these choices for myself and trusting that I am going to know what I need and what I don't. And I think that's been a really big thing for me, because there's always a part of me that's like, has this imposter syndrome of like, oh, this other person is more credible than I am, so what they say is the truth. But sometimes you have to make a choice for yourself. And I think it has been that kind of like having all of this stuff thrown at me and needing to field it, needing to understand what was important for me. Yeah, I honestly feel like that's the biggest thing. And it's so funny because that's like, I mean, I guess a lot of it is because I've done a lot of like the Kundalini yoga and stuff before. So it's a lot of just reminders of things. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Afraid of conflict because I'm like arguing with people all day again. But but it's not for me, and I don't enjoy it, you know. But so I'm so glad that it's helpful.
Yes, yeah, because for someone like me, like I run away from conflict constantly. And the thing is when you run away from conflict, you're also running away from like the good conflicts, like the things that come up in my life when I'm having a conflict with myself. Like, do I dive in and create a group program that's going to help people and, you know, and build my business and make me money? Or do I sit in the corner and be afraid that if I do that, I'm going to push people's buttons and people aren't going to like it? And those are also conflicts. Like, and I'm, you know, being with someone, having a coach who is not afraid to be in conflict with me is kind of like easing me into allowing those conflicts to happen. Like I'll have an argument with myself about it. I'll have that moment of Fallon is the devil and she's making me do this shit. And then I'll have that moment of like, okay, but how good do I feel when I finish? You know? And it's like, sometimes you need to have that. Like sometimes you have to have those inner battles in order to break through on the other side. So yeah. Good.
And anything else that you want everyone to know about your journey or what your goals are or anything else that has helped?
Not yet. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen next, because I really see myself, like I feel myself getting onto that trajectory. And I feel like the last point in my life where I felt this flow was when I started my business in the first place, was when I was in school and was like really loving everything that I was doing. And so I'm really excited to kind of be embarking on that same kind of feeling. And I'm really interested to see what the second half of this program is going to be like. Cause I feel like I'm ready for what's coming next. And I could not have said that to you for the last like 5 weeks. Every time I'd come into class, I'd be like, oh shit, what else is coming up? Whereas now I'm like, okay, what are we doing next? Cool. Let's dive in. So I'm very interested to see where I am at the end of this. If it has totally broken me down and I'm back where I was, in the middle here, or if I am, moving up even further, if I come out of this with a totally, finished group program and a whole roster. And so I'm hopeful, and I feel like good things are going to happen. I feel like I'm moving up. I am like, I'm riding that wave. That's where I am.
Doing the tasks a column instead of homework. I'm going to change it.
Yes. Okay.
As long as you keep doing the tasks, right? Your level of commitment to the tasks is equal to your breakthroughs. So as long as you keep going, I'm sure it's like interest, like it's just your growth is gonna compound, because now at least you have somewhat of an idea of all the different spinning plates.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that having that self-care morning and being able to use the tools that we've discussed is really going to set me up for success every day. Because when I come out of that meditation room, when I come out of that space of being present with myself, I'm in a totally different headspace than when I don't do it. Or even when I meditate in like the afternoon, like it's not setting me up. So
that's awesome. And what is your goal? So you mentioned the group program, right? With a roster. Any other goal till for the end?
I mean, there's always a part of me that wants to like say a certain amount of money that I want to make, but every time I try to do something like that, I set an unreasonable expectation and then feel like shit when I don't hit it. So I think I just want to I want to be able to live an abundant life. I want to feel like I don't want to worry about my bank account. I don't want to worry about how much money I have at any moment, or about checks bouncing, or about, not knowing how much is in my account. I want to feel more financially stable.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
We'll check in with you in 6 weeks.
Sounds good.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.